Hello and welcome to Bozeman School District's Open Enrollment Educational Series. Today we're going to be talking about our health insurance portion of our benefit selection. Electing benefits every single year with so many options can be really overwhelming. So this series acts as an aid to help give you another resource to better understand our options and what could be best for you. My name is Alyssa Pack, and I'm your benefits coordinator, and I hope I can answer some questions and make this process a little easier. I do have a full video of going over all election options. This one is really going to do a deep dive into health insurance, like I said, but we also have many others if you want to learn more about all of them. So to start, I'll just be going over our different health plan options. We'll do a little price comparison and just show you a good tool and guide when you're electing your options this year. Our district health insurance is self-funded. It is administered by Blue Cross Blue Shield. What does that mean? So our district paid premium plus the employee paid premiums contribute to a Bozeman School District Health Reserves Fund. All right, those premiums directly go into a singular pot. We use those funds to pay the members' claims. All right, so we have full control of kind of how our funds with the program, with the plan is used. Blue Cross Blue Shield helps us administer the plan. We are not masters of processing medical claims. They do all that while we get to handle all of the premiums. All right, so a little background on how our plan works. Before we dive too deep, I would really love to go through some definitions. So as I'm explaining different things, you know what I'm talking about. We're all on the same page, whatnot. So we're going to start with premium. That is the monthly amount that you're going to pay each month for your health insurance plan. It's a fixed cost, no matter if you use Medicare or not. It's going to be deducted from your paycheck. Won't come out of your bank account. It's on a bill, right? You're not going to see it. It's that fixed cost. A deductible is the amount of medical expenses you're responsible for, other than preventative, before the plan begins to pay for services. So at each of these plans, of our 3 district plans, you have to pay a certain amount of medical expenses before the district will assist. The out-of-pocket maximum is the total number of medical expenses you will pay in one plan year total, right? So there's a maximum risk that you will be responsible for each of these plans, and that's that out-of-pocket maximum. A copay is a flat rate for a service. For example, going to urgent care as a $75 copay instead of paying the full bill, the doctor bill, which could sometimes add up to a few $100s. Coinsurance is cost sharing between the plan and the member. For an example, on our basic plan, once you hit your deductible, there is a 70-30 coinsurance until your out-of-pocket max. That means the district will pay for 70% of medical bills accumulated, and you'll be responsible for the remaining 30. So now that we kind of have that definition, let's dive deep into each of these plans. So like I said, the district has 3 health plan options, all with their own pros, cons, components, and you want to make sure you understand your plan to know what you're getting yourself into, what are your needs, and how can you pick the best plan given that information. For a basic 2000 plan, this plan is going to run a little bit more of a typical health insurance plan. There's a deductible, as you can see up top, $2,000 for individual, $4,000 for family. Once you hit that, there's a coinsurance. So once you hit that, the district will cover 70% of your medical expenses. You'll be responsible for 30. Up until that out-of-pocket maximum, where if you're an individual, you will not pay more than $4,000 out of pocket. If you're a family, you will not pay more than $8,000. Another component of that basic plan is that there are office visit copays. So there's flat rate fees for you to go see your different care. Kind of going down, you can look at the details of virtual care and prescriptive drug care, but one note is amongst all of our plans, preventative care is covered. Okay, so against all 3. Moving right, we can see our 2 high deductible plans. We have a high deductible 5,000 plan, and we also have a high deductible 8,050 plan. A high deductible plan means that you'll be responsible for 100% of all medical costs up until you hit your deductible. There are no copays, there is no coinsurance, very simple, straightforward. All right, so for the 5,000 plan, 5,000 individual, 10,000 family, the 80/50 individual, or 1,600 for family. As a family deductible, that means any more family members more than just the employee. So whether you're employee spouse, employee child, employee family, that's your whole family deductible that you'd have to reach before the district will cover all expenses. Okay. So we can kind of look at those plans and say, okay, well, the 2,000 plan, I'm going to have way less doctor bills, 5,000 in the middle, 80/50 with the most. Why is that? Well, we do have to charge those different amounts for those plans. So the 2,000 basic plan is our most expensive plan. 5,000 is in the middle, and that 80/50 is on that lower end. So you can look and compare here just to better understand. These prices are for a full-time employee. So just take note of that. So what plan is for you? So there are lots of things we can think about, but just kind of here is an overall view of maybe some benefits and risks of each of these plans. When we're looking at the 2,000 plan, those copays and coinsurance is going to allow your out-of-pocket expenses to grow much slower, right? You're going to see less bills from doctors. It's going to be less out of your bank account that you're paying directly to those providers. The risk of that is that your monthly premium coming out of your paycheck is going to be quite high. All right. And then for the 5,000 high deductible plan, some benefits, it's eligible for a health savings account, which is a tax advantage account. The max risk, right, what you might take on is less than the 80/50, and your premium is less than the 2,000. So kind of that middle plan. The risk is that you're still responsible for 100% of all those medical costs until the deductible is met. No copays or anything. Okay. Then when we go to the 80/50, eligible for health and savings account, you're going to have really low monthly premiums, fantastic, but that risk, your deductible is very high, almost kind of what we call a catastrophic plan. You know, you're not expected to hit it every year, but when you do, hopefully you have some savings to help cover that. Bottom line, do you want to take on the risk on the back end and risk getting bills from doctors, or do you want to save on your bills but still see it come out of your paycheck? So kind of determining what's going to be best for you. We have a health cost analysis tool that I'm going to show you real quick. This is a new health expense calculator that you'll be able to use. I have a full video going in depth of how to use this, but it enables you to play around a little bit with different scenarios that you might encounter or you and your family might encounter. So a few examples, if you're an employee only, how this works, you'll enter your FTE and your expected medical costs. With that, it'll shoot out your annual premium costs, right? So over the year, what is going to come out of your paycheck, and your expected out-of-pocket costs, what you will pay towards doctors, and that total, right? So to determine. If I'm an employee only, for ease, I'll be a 1.0 FTE. And I'm a healthy individual, right? I only see my primary care every once in a while. I'm going to expect maybe only $1,000 in medical expenses. Okay, we're going to look real quick. I see that out-of-pocket expense for all three plans are the same because I didn't hit any of those deductibles. So when I look at the overall annual cost, gosh, maybe that 80/50 plan is worth the risk because most likely I might not hit it and I'll save so much money on premiums. All right. But say, gosh, I'm a skier. What if I tear my ACL and I need an MRI and a surgery and physical therapy and my medical expenses skyrocket and it's actually $20,000. All right. So now I'm hitting all three of those deductibles. I have high medical costs. What I'm going to see is my out-of-pocket costs for this 2,000 plan is going to be the least, right? It's only $4,000. Still that expensive premium, right? That's a flat rate. That's fixed. But that's the lowest I'm going to see for my doctors. Looking at the 5,000 and then the 80/50 owing that full deductible, and then comparing these overall costs. In this specific scenario, that 5,000 will be the least amount that I would pay in total of my medical expenses. But again, always something to think about if you have that savings or not. If you're unsure of how to estimate your medical expenses, there is a tab of medical expense calculator where you can kind of go through and review. So review and say, oh, well, I do see my preventative doctor once a year. Oh, no cost, so that's great. I probably see my primary care twice. And relating, to that ACL tear, yeah, I probably went to the ER, probably got an MRI, probably saw, 6+ physical therapists, and had that big surgery. And so I'm looking down here, about 20,000, like I had estimated before, at that 1870. And you can kind of play around. There's mental health cost estimates. Pharmacy is a little bit challenging, so you will have to enter and guess your own pharmacy expenses. If you would just like to see what your medical expenses were from last year, you can navigate to Blue Cross Blue Shield, log into your account, and just see what your expenses were, so you can kind of compare, is it going to be the same or different. For each plan level, I do have a tab. For example, this family plan, you can, if you're a 0.875 FTE and you have your employee, spouse, child medical expenses, you can estimate. We could say you aren't expecting many medical expenses, but your spouse is. Maybe they have a lot of health needs, and your child doesn't have very much, and neither does your second child. And now we can kind of look again at these comparisons and saying, okay, as a family, here's our total. The spouse maybe hit one or two of the deductibles. Here's what we're going to see from the doctors, those total prices, and the total cost throughout the year. So I just highly, highly, highly suggest going through that, better understanding what the plan options are, playing with different scenarios for you and your family, to pick your plan. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. And happy enrolling.